Today, we are going to dive into one of life's deepest questions. What is that unshakable, real part of our being? And we're going to look at an answer that's been around for thousands of years, one that offers a profound sense of peace and stability.
I mean, really think about it for a second. Your job, your friendships, your thoughts, even your own body, they're all constantly changing, aren't they? So, when everything you usually identify with is temporary, what's left? Who is the real you?
Well, for millennia, wise sages have pointed to a truth that's hidden just below the surface of our busy lives, and it offers a pretty powerful answer to that very question. You know, so much of our life is really a search for something solid, something permanent we can hold on to, in a world that, let's face it, never stops moving. We anchor our sense of who we are in our successes, our roles in society, or our physical appearance. But as the Bhagavad Gita teaches us, the material world, and that includes our physical bodies, is perishable by its very nature. It's kind of like trying to build a fortress on shifting sand.
So, where can we find solid ground? Well, the answer lies in an ancient secret, a core concept in Indian philosophy, the Atman.
The Atman is described as the true self. It's not your personality or your memories or even your emotions. It's that silent, aware presence that's always been within you. The pure consciousness that was there when you were a small child, and it'll be there through every single experience of your life. It is the real, unchanging you.
This statement is just incredibly powerful. It's declaring that there is an indestructible, eternal essence that flows through everything. This isn't just some hopeful idea. It's presented as a fundamental law of reality. And that substance, that's the Atman.
So, this insight unfolds into the first great truth about this eternal self, and it's a concept that completely reframes how we think about life and death.
Here's the core distinction. You are not your body. You are the Atma, the soul, that inhabits the body. The body is born, it gets older, and eventually it perishes. But the self, the Atman, is never born, and it never ever dies.
In the Gita, this wisdom is actually given on a battlefield to encourage the warrior Arjuna to do his duty without being paralyzed by grief. The message is just so clear. While physical forms are temporary, the soul inside them is eternal and simply cannot be harmed.
Okay, so if the self is separate from the body, what's its relationship to all our actions and experiences? Well, this brings us to the second profound truth. I want you to imagine the sky. Clouds drift by, storms come and go, the sun shines, but the sky itself, it remains completely untouched and unchanged. The Atman is just like that sky. The events of your life, the joys, the sorrows, the successes and the failures, they're just clouds passing through. The self is the silent, unaffected witness to it all, and really getting this is the key to some serious emotional resilience.
Here's the crucial point. Real freedom comes from identifying with that witnessing consciousness, not with the actions or their results. When we don't have that insight, we get caught up in the cycle of action and reaction, what Manusmriti here calls the circle of births and deaths. True insight is what sets us free.
And this understanding leads us to the most breathtaking revelation of all. This is where the individual connects directly to the cosmic.
The great wisdom traditions tell us that the eternal consciousness within you, the Atman, is absolutely identical to Brahman. And Brahman is the ultimate reality, the single indivisible source of the entire universe. There's no separation. The spark within you is the same as the great fire of all existence. Now, this isn't just some abstract philosophy. It has a deeply profound effect on how we live. When you recognize that the very same self lives in every single being, you naturally become equal-minded towards all. Compassion just becomes effortless. This recognition is the gateway to the highest state of being. Just let that sink in for a moment. The deepest, most essential part of you is the deepest, most essential part of everyone and everything else. So, what does this all mean for us, here and now? How does knowing this ancient secret actually change the way we live our day-to-day lives? Well, first, by practicing a little restraint, by not letting our senses get constantly pulled around by the external world, we become, as Manusmriti says, fit for immortality. Second, we learn to do our work and live our lives without being so attached to the results, finding a kind of freedom in the action itself. Third, we start to see that divine spark in everyone, and that can totally transform our relationships. And finally, we discover a deep, lasting peace that doesn't depend on whether things are going our way, because we're anchored in something eternal. And this brings us to a final thought. If the core of your being is this eternal, silent witness,
then your life, well, your life is the story that unfolds before it. The real question then becomes, what kind of story, what kind of actions, what kind of life will you choose for it to observe? And that truly is a question only you can answer.